Jessie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
What's
I'm
new?
so,
What have you guys been up to?
oh my gosh. It's funny when people ask me that because I'm like, I do things. I do a lot of things and I don't stop doing things, but I don't know what I do. Like we just don't stop going. I think we we just got back from Knoxville, then we just went to Boston a couple weeks before that. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so we're just constantly traveling and seeing new things and doing new things. And you know how it is. And now it's the holiday season. So everything's about
Yeah.
to get amped up even more. But yeah.
You guys went ice skating, I saw.
Yeah. My
So
husband's work,
scary.
yeah, put on a little company outing. And it's so funny because I was like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna bring Margot, and that's our baby. She's 2 in a week and a half or 2 weeks.
You're
And
seeing
so
them already?
yeah,
What?
I know. I don't know how that happened. I don't.
Oh,
I literally said today, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, all right, so this year for her birthday, I'd like to do this and this. And I was like, and I'm glad I won't have to do this again because she's not going to get any older. She's not allowed to have another birthday. So 2 is it. We've capped it at 2. She's not going to grow anymore. We've talked about it.
have like a music partner, like a touring buddy. You guys could like have your own little group.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that she sings. She was singing today. She was serenading us at the kitchen table, um, and she was singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." But all the songs she knows gets kind of jumbled in one. So then she was just going on this melodic streak of, I don't know, I can't think of the term when you put a bunch of songs together, but it was great. I was like, that's great. I love
It's
that.
in her genes.
It is
It
in her genes.
is
She
in
was
her.
playing, yeah, she was playing drums earlier today
Oh
too.
man. Oh, we need a clip of that.
Oh, I know. That would be so nice. Yeah, it's really loud when she gets down here, but she loves it. Every time I go and switch the laundry out, because it's over here on the side, she's right at it. And I have to be like, wow. I was just talking about this a couple days ago with someone about how our parents have talents and somehow genetically we get those talents, maybe not always, but we end up inheriting some of what they're able to do. Whereas my mom's an artist, I didn't get any of that. My sister got that. She can draw and she's very creative and things like that. But my dad's so good at math and really good at cooking. And I went to culinary school, and then I was great at math. I started college math when I was still in high school and stuff like that. And the music, I guess, I get from him as well. Although I get my singing voice from my mom. She actually sings. So it's kind of funny because I'm just thinking like, here are the things I know I can do well. And actually my husband does everything well. So I'm just like, I wonder what Margot's going to get. Maybe all of it, maybe none of it. Who knows? We'll see. I think she's definitely going to love music though. She loves dancing and all that kind of stuff. So
I can't wait to find out. I can't wait to see her progress and grow and all of that. So growing up in an artistic family, I mean, what was that like? And what kind of bearing did that have on, who you became and your musical skills now and your passion for that?
oh man, that there's so many layers I could go into. That's such a big question. Well, I'll start by saying that my parents moved to Nashville for music. My father did. And actually, my mother and my father knew each other from high school. Um, and then they met up again in Nashville. And long story short, obviously they had me and whatnot. And I just remember my childhood just being an absolute fun, chaotic mess. With that, not saying that there wasn't structure, there was a good amount of structure, but I was homeschooled, which is absolutely incredible. I loved it. I was homeschooled. I grew up in the country. We lived on 12 acres, so out exploring in the woods every day, building things out there, and then going to the creek and just like, I guess, really being engulfed in nature. And then I had my dad taking me to bluegrass festivals, and actually I would play and sing at bluegrass festivals like Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, things like that. And then my mom on the other side would be taking me out to Nashville, and we would go to Centennial Park Center and we would do the arts thing there. She got me into pottery. I did pottery when I was younger. Actually, I've made all my dishes in my kitchen. Not all of them, but a lot of them are handmade. Yeah. So just things like that. Like and that actually my baby shower was held at an art center. So just like, I guess it was just destined from the beginning that I was going to have some type of like creativity somehow. But yeah, that's what I really remember. I remember I started working when I was 14. I started college when I was 16. And that's not because my parents pushed me academically. It's just because I was like, cool, I was able to do all my homework in 4 hours today and go to work and have a lot of time to just, I guess, express myself. But I was just mentally very healthy. You know what I mean? Because they had put that trust in me, being like, this is what is needing to be done. Here are other things in the world that you can do. It was great. There was no opportunity I felt like that I was held back from. Like, I worked with horses, I volunteered at animal shelters. I mean, I've been on so many different mission trips. I've been to 33 states, 30, might be 34. I'm getting a map. I'm going to put push pins in it so I can keep track of it. And actually, yeah, so it's 33 because I'm going to Montana in the spring, and that'll make my 34th. But anyway, so I hope that answered a little bit. I feel like I just went on a tangent. Yeah, it played the biggest role. I can't imagine what I would be like any other way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I can't without those the things and that my parents did, because my mom actually even taught art. We went to an enrichment school. I don't know if you know BHSE. We went there, yeah, years ago. She even taught art there. So I was just constantly like, she constantly had paint on her fingers. My dad was always playing harmonica or some new instrument. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Broad exposure then really helped you to develop your true self and find out, what you love to do the most, where you're most passionate, and kind of, I guess, find that artist inside of you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of kids don't get exposed to that many things all the time.
I know. And you know what's funny is that my husband has a pretty similar background where he was doing a lot. He like grew up in the, like, I guess the Christian rock scene. I don't know if you know what Cornerstone is, things like that. So he was exposed to a lot of music and stuff like that too.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a singer?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what's funny? I think I want to say the band that made me realize, this is so silly. The band that made me realize I wanted to be a singer was the Backstreet Boys. Why? Because I don't do anything like them. Like, but I can't remember the name of the song, but it was like, it's not Back in Black, is it? No, that's the different. It was like, this is gonna kill me. I can't remember what song it was, but I was obsessed, and I was like 6 or 7, and I was like, I remember watching them on TV, because they were maybe going to a music awards or something, and they were swarmed with people, and then they went and they performed live, and I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to do that because I love them so much. Super weird.
Well, you have a beautiful singing voice.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful. And it's very unique in that it's it's modern and folksy and just very, I don't even know all the adjectives I want to use to describe it. It's almost angelic. I've listened to a lot of your videos on YouTube, and I've kind of followed you the last several years. And I'm so proud of you. You've just done awesome stuff.
That's so nice. Yeah, I haven't it's ever since I had Margot, I haven't put anything out, but I'm loving that we're having this conversation now, because I had just met with someone who actually I've known since the first grade, but she really has pushed me to do a lot of that stuff. And I just had a conversation with her, and I think we're going to start maybe doing some more stuff, and I'm going to start pushing myself a little bit more to put stuff out. Just because, the pandemic happened, and then
Yeah.
I had a baby and like all that stuff. But it's so funny to me when people are like, oh, I love your stuff on YouTube. I'm like, thank you. I'm so honored that people know that I have a YouTube. It's so
Yes.
nice. It's like
And everyone needs to follow your YouTube.
yeah, that would be great.
What is your songwriting process like?
Oh, you know what? It's funny because I was just thinking about that. All the stuff that we're talking about, I guess maybe I think about it more often than I realize. But before I started working for a company, as a freelance writer, it was a little over a year ago now. Before I started working for them, my process was just, it sometimes would take me a year to finish a song. And that comes with like, being like, this isn't good enough. Oh, but maybe it is. Oh, but this isn't good enough. Kind of like your own worst critic and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't have a lot that I felt was important enough to say. And that is also, I think that's also part of my DNA where I just feel like this has to be perfect or no one needs to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So all in all to say, I just feel like my process before I started working for this company was, if it sounds cool, put it down. If it doesn't sound cool and it sounds like just a boring sentence, then who cares? Nobody's going to want to listen to that. If it's not catchy, no one's going to want to listen to that. So I'm really lucky that I started working for this company because I wasn't using my creative muscle like I should have been using, and it's funny because the friend that I mentioned earlier was like, content. You can write a song about spaghetti. It doesn't matter, but you have to write every day and you have to flex that muscle because otherwise you're just going to let it go weak, and that's also depressing, because I didn't flex that muscle for a really long time. And it would take me a really long time to write a song that I wasn't even that proud of, So now, after I started working for this company, I'm constantly thinking of things that rhyme or analogies or whatever. And because I have to, but also it just helps me look at things deeper than I have before. So I guess I would say I've finally written a couple songs just in the past year. And I've realized before I didn't really have a style. I just wanted something that sounded good and gimmicky and people were going to listen to it. And now I feel like I have a lot more depth into what I'm writing, which is, I can't even tell you how elated that makes me. It's absolutely incredible. And even though I'll listen to the songs and again, I'm my own worst critic, I'm like, nobody's gonna know what this is about. It's kind of dumb. But at the same time, it's bringing me joy. And I don't know what other people's experiences are, So now it's just, I feel like the simplest way to say it is the best way sometimes. Whereas before I was like, no, it needs to be fancy and have all these undertones. And now I'm like, no, I love phrases that we use in everyday life. I love writing that down and being like, that makes me think of this and makes me think of a time that this happened to me. And, so I guess my process is now just to literally focus on my emotions and say phrases that I say every day.
Well, that's what we're going to resonate with as the audience listening to you, because we're going to connect with that because you're human and we're all going through similar experiences. And so hearing what you're going through from your perspective and the way that you're going through it, it's going to resonate with all of us. And you just said it right there. It's the simplest thing. Sometimes we try to overcomplicate things, I think, and we try to, make it this bigger thing, or gimmicky, or what does everybody else want to hear, instead of just kind of getting down to those bare bones of what's real and authentic and what's inside of us. What are we passionate about? What do we feel? What do we go through? And
Mhm.
because what we're going through, I think largely is what other people are going through, and we connect that way. So I think
Right.
that's awesome. I mean, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I don't know why it took me so long to understand that, but I feel like I would have never called myself a songwriter, even with getting the job that I do and doing the songs that I do. It wasn't until that I sat down and I wrote something that actually had depth and purpose and meaning to me and was said in such a way that I was like, now I feel like I'm a songwriter. And maybe this will never make me money. And that's absolutely not what I would do it for anyway. But now I feel like I could hold my head up and be like, yes, I know how to write a song because this is what it means. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that journey that you went through to get there is all part of it. The things that you've learned along the way make you the songwriter that you are right now.
Yeah,
It's awesome. I love the
absolutely.
journey. The journey's half of it.
That's true.
All the mistakes that we make along the way, the cringe, we're just like, oh, that didn't work out, or oh, that was awful, or which probably
Yep.
wasn't awful. But like you said, we're our own worst critic and we think that it's awful. But we learn so much and it gets us to where we are now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely my down. I even wrote a song about it and I never put it out or anything like that. But I even wrote a song about just how I am the cause of my downfall constantly because I'm too scared to try. And therefore I never know if I'm good enough. I just convince myself I'm not and I cut myself to the quick. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it I'm just now getting to the point where I'm comfortable being like, hey, I've written a song. I think it's good. I don't really care if you don't think it's good, but I think you'll like it anyway. So you know what I mean? And that's so empowering to be like, I actually don't care if somebody doesn't like this. Like that's great. So it's just me kind of defeating that voice of being like, doesn't matter. It makes me really happy. And I feel like maybe not everyone will like it, but I know at least one person out there will be like, I get this, I feel this. It means something different to me, but I feel it. And that's also such a thing that can keep you going too.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that, because one of the things that I want to do with these conversations is to inspire people and encourage people to do what drives them, what they're passionate about, what they enjoy, and not to have that fear. I think
Mhm.
we can look at other people sometimes and we think, oh, I could never do that, or I'm not good enough to do what they're doing. And we put up those roadblocks for ourselves. We get in our own way and we stop ourselves, and there's fear. And I think that when we can see people do what you're doing and come past that fear and get over those hurdles, um,
Yeah.
it's so important for people to be able to see that we all have those same fears. We all sit there and go, oh, I don't know if I should do this. Should I be doing this? Is this right? Am I good enough for this? We all have
Yeah.
that moment.
That's very true. It's funny because I don't know how people exist without that voice in their head. I've met a few people that are like, yeah, it's great. I'm confident about everything and I don't care. And I'm like, how do you do that? I want that. Like you can take all my talents. I would just want that. Like, you know what I mean?
'Cause that voice is following me around every day, like second guessing everything I do. Like,
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I'm constantly like, and it's funny because I have a bit of anxiety too. So I'm constantly second guessing myself, not only because I'm my own worst critic, but because I have anxiety. So like you can only imagine, I just feel like it's doubled up on me. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. Well, what inspires you?
Obviously other music. Um, but up until this past year, I have never written a happy song. And that's so sad. I've written probably like I've written more than 6 or 7 songs, but I couldn't tell you what they were. You know what I mean? Like I have never written a song that has had any tones of joy to it, um, until I had my daughter. And that's not to say I wasn't happy before I had my child, but I don't know, there's just something so wonderful about watching a person grow and bloom and absolutely not know any of the negative stuff in the world. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just incredible. So honestly, my family, my husband, my child, it's just so inspiring. And that sounds so cliche, but it just is. And I've tried to write a love song because I've been with my husband for 11 years and I love him so much. He's great. But it wasn't until I just saw that absolute raw just love for everything. And with her, I can't even explain it, you know?
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so her and music, other lyricists, you know, I work with, um, I don't work with them because I'm contracted out separately, but I know a bunch of other indie artists. I get to see their music and hear what they're going through and see the way they write, and it's inspiring. So yeah, that's in short, that's what it is. Just a mix of all that stuff.
Yeah, and you and Wes, you have written some songs together, or done some duets together, haven't you?
Yeah, he wouldn't he wouldn't tell you that because he's a shy singer. He doesn't like to sing, but boy can sing. And he in every single one of my songs that I've ever recorded, he's played on it for me. Um, he can play anything. His love is drums, but you just hand him an instrument and he can figure it out. So yeah, every time I get something recorded, um, except for one song, I put a banjo in. He did not play that, but every other one he did. And so that's pretty amazing. And I'm like, I need something that sounds here's the problem. I'm always like, even, you know, I'll be like, here's a song that I wrote. I don't like the way I strum the guitar here. He'll take it, he'll make it way better. And then I have to be like, well, now I can't play this song anymore by myself. I'm gonna need you every time because you just did such a good job. Which is he makes my songs, but he ruins them for me at the same time because I'm like,
Aw.
why didn't I think of that? You know?
You guys have such a magic together. You've done a couple of videos, I think, that are still available on YouTube, where
Yeah.
he played and you have sang, and you guys do so well together. Do you ever think about doing something like that, like a husband-wife group duo?
Yeah, he I would love to do that. His first love is drums, so he just wants to get on the drum kit. And I'm like, play guitar with me. He's like, yes, but this isn't black metal. So he loves doing black metal kind of, you know, that kind of stuff. But if I want him to do anything, he ends up having a great time, and he would do it in a heartbeat just because he loves music so much. He loves it just as much as maybe even more than me, which I don't even know how that's possible, but he is constantly, there's a song constantly in his head. And I only know that because I see him tap his feet like this constantly, or whatever he's doing the dishes, there's music on. Like it's just, I remember when, because we grew up together, we went to college together, high school and college, and then we worked together at two different jobs. And on the commute, just music both ways all the time. And I'd have to be like, because sometimes I just need a second to reset my brain. You have to shut the music off for just a second. He loves it. But yeah, that's something that we do. We have like a handful of songs that we can pull out and play and stuff like that. Um, he's just so good. I don't even know how I got so lucky.
Aw.
You know?
So what are you working on now? Like what do you have an EP coming out? Are you working on some new songs?
Well, I've written two songs that I really want to get recorded. And I'll probably drop them as singles. I probably have about 4 or 5 songs that I would put on an EP, but I would want to redo the way that I've recorded a couple of them. Um, it's funny because every time I finish recording a song, I'm like, this is it. This is what I want. And then I'll go back and I'll listen to it a while later. I'll be like, no, I want to change it now. And maybe I need somebody to tell me, stop, you're messing with it too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would love to. I have 2 songs that I want to put out as singles, and that'll be coming up probably the earlier part of the year. At least one of them will be. Um, I think that it has just taken me a long time to get my bearings down and find my sound and find the way that I write songs. And now that I've figured out how I go through my process of writing songs and what's important to me and writing things that actually have depth and meaning to me, now I can get to the part where I'm going to actually be composing them, because a lot of my songs I've needed help composing because they didn't really mean too much to me. To me, they do. And I have a couple that I put out that mean a lot to me, but some of them in the past, they felt more like a deadline that I had to put out, a pressure that I had put on myself. And so I've been like, other people know how to play better than me. I'm just going to let them take the reins on it. So definitely in the next few months, something will be coming out, whether it's a teaser or whatnot. But I'm just really trying not to push myself to create something that I'm going to look back on and be like, this doesn't have my hands in it, you know?
Right.
So that's really what I'm focusing on is, does this have all parts of me, you know, and making myself happy rather than looking from the audience's point of view, you know? So that's what I'm working towards. Just absolutely all my ideas. I love other people's ideas, but I want to make sure it's like, yep, I'm not going to say yes to this just because I think this person's better than me. I'm going to actually want it.
Right. And that is what we have to do as artists. We have to make what's part of us, and we have to do what we want to do, and not try to make it fit a mold or form it for the audience or for someone else. And because if we're doing that, we're doing it for the wrong reasons. If we're doing it for money, if we're doing it to make someone happy, it's not us, and it's not what we were designed to create. It's not that unique part of us. And that's what makes art so beautiful. It's so unique and individual to each person. And we each have something to bring to the table. And like you said earlier, if somebody doesn't like it, then it wasn't for them. But
Right.
there's going to be a lot of people that are going to hear what you're doing, or read what someone is writing, or, see some visual art that someone has created. And they're going to look at that and get it. It's going to, they're going to connect with that. So that's just, I think that's so important.
Right. And I feel like, I would definitely rather have that one connection than 50 people go, yeah, that was pretty good, and then never listen to the song, like that one person be like, yeah, I love that. I remember it. I sing it in the shower. Like, I know that song. Then a bunch of other people like, yeah, I've heard it. It was good. But I want it to move you the way it moves me, because there's
Right.
absolutely nothing better than that feeling. I've had a few bands that I've listened to recently, and I just stand in my kitchen. I'm just like, oh, this is so good. How did they come up with this? Why didn't I think of this? I know that feeling. I know what they're talking about. It's so good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, who's your favorite? Now I got to ask, because you just that. I'm like, okay, who do you love? Who are you listening to right now? Who's on your playlist?
Well, I mean, I do a lot of rotations. One that stands out to me that I'll always, every time I put on their album, I'll always just stand in my, like, just wherever I'm at and just be like, oh, so I've literally teared up. I think Margaret Glaspie's one of them. I absolutely love her. She's incredible. And a lot of her stuff is just very simple, but she's just so unique in the way she sings it. So she's amazing. Right now I'm listening to a lot of Half Alive. I really love their lyrics, but they sound a little bit like 21 Pilots. They're great. Peter McPoland's wonderful. He's somebody that I discovered off of social media. He's a songwriter through and through. So I like it all. I like a lot of like indie folk stuff, and I'll listen to a lot of rock and Bring Me the Horizon and a bunch of other stuff that you would be like, what is this? You know what I mean? But those are just a couple that I can think off the top of my head that I just rotate through.
Do you have a little something to play for us?
Sure, I can play a part of a song for you. I won't do the whole thing.
A teaser, right?
Yeah, just a little bit of a teaser and see how good this goes. Take my rings off here. I'm just making sure it's in tune because this room's pretty cold compared to the rest of my house. Okay. You're a penny I threw in a fountain, a dream and a wish coming true. I am overjoyed with every fiber of my being that I get to exist for you. Just when I thought life was good, God sat you down in front of me. Just when I thought I knew the path that I was taking, you came unexpectedly. And oh, my soul's forever changed. And oh, my heart has found a home within your name. You gave me purpose, making life worth it. Well, I'm glad you came. You gave me purpose, making life worth it. Well, I'm glad you came.
Oh my goodness. That
Thank you.
was so beautiful.
Thank you.
I had to keep
letting me
hearing
play
it
it
a little bit because I was like, oh no, don't cry, don't cry. Ah. You can't make me cry on camera, Jessie.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that's my first and only love song so far. So I finished it, but I'm just not sure how we're going to be doing the arrangements on it and all that stuff. But that's it. That's in the raw, and I love it the way it is. So we'll see where it goes. But that's the one that I've actually have took the least amount of time written on, and I'm the most proud of it because it just flowed out of me, and that just felt so great. And every time I listen to it, I'm like, no, I wouldn't change anything. I go back to it month after, I'm like, no, I wouldn't change it. It's great. I love it. So
Well,
thank you for letting me play
that
it.
one now. Like if it was available, I would download it right now. So that
Oh, thank you.
was awesome. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to have you back on then when you have more out, and we can.
Oh,
play.
yeah, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I love that you're letting me do this now. It's great.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to it, thinking about it all week, and then like this day, don't call me. Shut my phone off.
We'll have to do a follow-up.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, so all right, what are all of your social medias? Where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Jessie Madeline. It's spelled a little differently. It's a JESSIEMADELENE. That's all my social media handles. So Instagram, Facebook, I've got YouTube, all of it's the same. So I don't think I'm going to change it right now. So that'll be it.
Yeah, consistency is good.
Consistency is good. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I loved it. It was a great time. Thanks for letting me talk so much.
Oh, yeah, no, anytime. Yeah, come chat anytime. Because I feel like there's a whole lot more to be said.
Oh, yeah, always, every day, there's something new.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon. And I cannot wait to hear the new songs.
Yay.
No pressure. Take your time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll chat with you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.